Okay, so today we're going to talk about properties of exponents, but the particular property we're going to talk about is called power of a power. Power of power. Power of a power is a very powerful thing. And you multiply the power. Say, for example, I give you x to the power of m. Now that means that that x has a power all its own. And then I take that to a higher power, to the n power. And I like to say, if you already have a power, and then you get taken to a higher power, you're getting pretty powerful. So a power of a power, I like to say, is a very powerful thing. You multiply the power. So this gives you x to the power of m times n. Okay, now let's try that with some real numbers. If I gave you 2 to the power of 3, and then now the 2 to the third, that 2 has a power of its own, and let's say I take that to a power of 4. That's going to be real powerful. So that's going to give me 2 to the power of 3 times 4, which is 2 to the power of 12. And 2 to the power of 12 is a really big number, because we go, when you find out what it is, get ready to let me know. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Everybody should be looking it up. Times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32, times 2 is 64, times 2 is 128, times 2 is 256, times 2 is 512, times 2 is 1024, times 2 is 2048, times 2 is what? You're supposed to look it up. We made it to 10, and we said 2 to the 10th was 1024. And so 2 to the 11th is 2048. So 2 to the 12th would be what? 4096. Yeah, did you look it up? It's equal to 4096. So you see, by multiplying out those powers, it became very powerful. Did you look it up? Hello? 4096. Okay, because the power multiplied quick. Now, here's something I'd like to show you. Suppose you didn't know the rule totally. So you said, I want to do what's in the parentheses first. So you'd say 2 to the third is 8. And then you go 8 to the 4th, which would be 8 times 8 times 8 times 8, which would come out to what? Hello, Mariana, what?
32.
40, 96. Did you look that up? Hello? Anybody look it up in here? No, not you, Richard. Lucian? Yeah? You looked it up? Okay. So now that we can see that this rule works, let's try it on some other numbers, maybe something smaller. Yeah.
Also teach my students.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, our mathematician is going to add something.
No, I understand it.
No, I like it. Go ahead, tell us.
So also teach them how, as a part of this also.
We need a little louder. We can't
I
hear.
also teach them to do it as a part of rules also. You know, using a part of rules to solve this also, which is the same thing.
Which is, tell us. I'm not sure what you're saying.
Which is said, as a part of rules, right? So we're gonna be 2 to the third, right? Times 2 to the third.
Okay.
times 2 to the third plus times 2 to the
Times,
third, right?
times.
Same base,
Yes,
okay? So that's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's gonna be 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. The different way to solve this.
okay, thank you.
That's gonna give you 2 to the 4.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Mr. Mathematician. What our mathematician said is that for every problem, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. And here I showed you 2 ways. Hello. But he said you need to be aware of the fact that 2 to the third 4 times is exactly what he wrote right here. 2 to the third 1 time times 2 to the third a second time times 2 to the third a third time times 2 to the third a fourth time, which is equal to 2 to the third 3, 6, 9, 12, which is still 2 to the 12th, which is still 4096. So because the power is a little number, it sits on the shoulder of the base number and whispers in its ear, kind of like this young lady here is sitting close to this young man, and she might tell him what to do, and he's going to have to mind her. So the power here, he's referring to this one. The power 4 says to the 2 to the third, multiply by yourself 4 times because I'm 4. So 2 to the third times 2 to the third times 2 to the third times 2 to the third is equal to 2 to the 12th, because using the other rule, the rule says when the numbers multiply, the powers add, remember? And so that's just another way of doing the same problem, using a different rule. Okay? So one more, I think we have time for one more. So let's say we say 3 to the second to the third. Using the power of power rule, we would say 3 to the 2 times 3, which is 3 to the 6. Okay? And then we multiply 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 and get the answer. Okay, so all problems can be done different ways, but I'm trying to show you a particular rule here. So let's see how that is.